How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So back in July of 2021, Todd McFarlane, who created Spawn and started Image Comics, said about his upcoming King Spawn #1 comic book that his retailer incentive, which would be 1 in 250, was going to be the lowest print run he's ever offered for a Spawn comic book.
This is going to be the rare book. This will be the single smallest print run I've ever offered to any retailer at any point, any time.
So after seeing that, I thought to myself, that's a lie. So then I decided to do some research and digging, and I decided to make this video showing the top 50 rarest Spawn comic books ever made. So all the way at the bottom at number 50, we got King Spawn #1. This is the McFarlane 1 in 250 retailer incentive variant. It has a total print run of 1,697. A CGC 9A is gonna roughly run you about $950. Now, Todd McFarlane obviously didn't know that his King Spawn #1 was gonna crack nearly 500,000 copies sold of the normal main cover A, which then in turn made the retailer incentive of 1 in 250 not as rare as he thought. He went on to repeat this process for the Scorched and the Gunslinger Spawn, which their retail incentive of 1 in 250. The Scorched had 838 print run, and then the Gunslinger had 1191. At number 49, we got Spawn #300. This is the third printing inaugural variant and had a print run of 1,000 copies. This was not a retailer incentive, and a 9A is gonna roughly run you about $125. At number 48, we got Spawn 299, and this is the Canadian convention variant and had a print run limited to 1,000 copies. A 9A is gonna cost you about $400. At number 47, we got Spawn 223. This is a sketch variant and retail incentive of 1 in 25. This has a print run of roughly around 675 to 875. A 9A is recently sold for $431. The main cover A had a total print run of 21,965. It's probably a good time to explain to you the difference between a retailer incentive versus a limited copy. A limited copy, they make a limited run and that's all they got. A retailer incentive, it depends how many of the normal cover A has been bought by the retailers. So for example, this one was 1 in 25. So if you owned a comic shop and you ordered at least 25 copies of Spawn 223, you would get one of these sketch variants. Now, if you ordered 50 copies, you would get 2 of these sketch variants. So for the King Spawn, you had to order 250 copies to get one of those retailer incentive variants. At 46, we got Spawn and the Savage Dragon #1. This is a newsstand. The print run is gonna be around 400 to 1,000 copies that exist of this. A 9.6 recently sold for $500. Originally, this was for Savage Dragon #30. But for some reason, for the newsstand version of this, they decided to change the title and call it Spawn and Savage Dragon. So why does this have a massive difference in print run from 400 to 1,000 possible print run? That's because this is the newsstand. Of the normal direct copy, there was a little over 36,000 printed. And if you look at the graph here, and you can see that newsstand became less and less popular way of selling comic books, and it was more to the direct consumer through the comic shops. And roughly around this time, it was around probably 10% to 9% of the total print run was newsstand. Now that goes for bigger publishers like Marvel and DC. Someone a lot smaller, like Image, wouldn't have so many that were on the newsstand because they didn't have as many avenues to get them on the newsstand, and it was increasingly becoming not so popular to put them on the newsstand. So during this time period, Image Comics had roughly 1 to 2%, maybe even as high as 3% that were actually newsstand. At number 45, we got Spawn 301. This is the second print Craine variant. It had a limited run of 666 copies printed. A 9.8 will run you about $400. At number 44, we got Spawn 301. This is the Alex Ross sketch variant. It had a print run of 666. A CGC 9.8 is gonna run you about $305. Number 43, we got Spawn number 289. The Toronto Expo variant had a print run of 666. A 9.8 recently sold for $200. Fun fact, did you know that Todd McFarlane actually created Spawn in his teenage years? This is a picture of what he looked like back then. At 42, we got Spawn number 285. This is the Megacon variant. Had a print run of 666. A 9.8 recently sold for $133. And number 41, we got Spawn 280. This is the Francesco Mattina variant. It had a print run of 666. A CGC 9.8 recently sold for $354. At number 40, we got Spawn number 265. This is the gold blank variant. This had a print run of 666. A CGC 9.8 sold for $500. A lot of times comics will create this blank variant so you can get whoever you want to draw on it to kind of create your own customized cover. At number 39, we got Spawn number 222. This is the Sketch 1 in 25 retailer incentive. This had a print run of roughly 550 to 725. A CGC 9.8 sold for $604. The main cover A had a total print run of 18,336. At number 38, we got Spawn number 227. This is the Sketch variant, a retailer incentive of 1 in 25. It had a print run of roughly 525 to 675. CGC 9.8 sold for $23.50. A main cover A had a total print run of 17,172. Coming in at number 37, we got Spawn number 226. This is the Sketch variant, a retail incentive of 1 in 25. Had a print run of roughly 500 to 650. A CGC 9.8 sold for $1,787. The main cover had a total print run of 16,814. Fun fact, before he quit Marvel, he was the highest paid artist, making $2 million a year. At number 36, we have Spawn number 231. The Sketch variant, retailer incentive of 1 in 25. The print run is roughly around 500 to 650. A CGC 9.8 recently sold for $810. The main cover had a total print run of 16,502. At number 35, we have Spawn number 229. This is the Sketch variant, a 1 in 25. Print run, roughly around 500 to 650 exist. A CGC 9.8 sold for $400. The main cover had a total print run of 16,355. At number 34, we have Spawn number 228. This is a cover swipe of Action Comics number 1. This was the Sketch variant, a 1 in 25. Print run of roughly 500 to 650. A 9.8 recently sold for $1,150. The main cover had a print run of 16,343. So you might be wondering, why are the print runs from 500 to 650? Well, the reason for that is because these are retailer incentives. There's no way to know exactly how many were printed, but we can do some math to kind of figure out if this one had a print run of cover A of 16,000, and if every single comic shop owner pretty much ordered in lots of 25 so they can get that variant in, the most they could ever make would be roughly around 650 comics of this variant. But let's be honest, not every comic shop owner is going to order exactly 25 or in lots of 25, say 50, 75. Some might order 5 or 10 or just 1 copy to their store, and so they don't get that variant. Usually what we see is if they have a retailer incentive, you're looking at about 85% on the high end to all the way down to maybe even 70% of all the total cover A's that sold will get a variant. So that is why the range is at the 650 copies, which is the highest it could possibly be, to all the way down to the 500 number, which is probably a more realistic number. At number 33, we got Spawn number 200. This is the Finch Sketch variant. This is a 1 in 100. This has an estimated print run of 500 to 650. A 9.8 sold for $565. The main cover had a total print run of 65,448. At number 32, we got Spawn number 232. This is a 1 in 25 Sketch variant. It had an estimated print run of 475 to 625. A 9.8 sold for $425. The main cover A had a total print run of 16,077. At number 31, we got Spawn number 230. This is a Batman number 423 cover swipe. This is the 1 in 25 Sketch variant. It has an estimated print run of 475 to 625. A 9.8 recently sold for $2,150. The main cover had a total print run of 15,994. At number 30, we got Spawn number 234. This is a sketch variant, a 1 in 25. It had an estimated print run of 475 to 625, a 9.8, recently sold for $300. The main cover had a total print run of 15,930. At number 29, we got Spawn number 221. This is a cover swipe of Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man. This is a 1 in 25 sketch variant. Has an estimated print run of 475 to 625. A 9.8 recently sold for $810. The main cover had a total print run of 15,801 copies. Fun fact, Todd McFarlane would send about 30 to 40 submissions to comic book editors every single month. And after about 700, he got his first reply from Sam Amendola, who gave him a dummy script, which he drew and later became his first published artwork in the backstory of Coyote number 11. At number 28, we got Spawn number 233. This is a 1 in 25 sketch variant. Has an estimated print run of 475 to 625. A CGC 9.8 recently sold for $900. The main cover has a total print run of 15,701. At number 27, we got Spawn number 235. This is a 1 in 25 sketch variant. Has an estimated print run of 450 to 600 copies. A CGC 9.8 sold for $400. The main cover has a total print run of 15,081 copies. At number 26, we got Spawn number 220. This is the 1 in 50 Youngblood sketch variant. This has an estimated print run of 450 to 600 copies. A CGC 9.8 sold for $650. The main cover had a total print run of 30,136. At number 25, we got Spawn number 250. This is the Scotty Young sketch variant, a 1 in 100. It has an estimated print run of 450 to 600. A CGC 9.8 sold for $300. It had a total print run of 60,357. At number 24, we got Spawn number 246. This is the 1 in 25 sketch variant. Had an estimated print run of 400 to 525. A 9.8 sold for $450. The main cover had a total print run of 13,343. At number 23, we got Spawn number 300. This is the second printing gold edition. It had a limited print run of 500. A 9.8 sold for $1,040. At number 22, we got Spawn number 299. This is the Boston Convention variant. It had a limited print run of 500. A 9.8 sold for $380. Did you know that Todd McFarlane has directed 4 music videos before? His first one started with Pearl Jam's Do the Evolution. At number 21, we got Spawn number 299. This is the San Diego Comic Convention. It had a limited print run of 500. A 9.8 sold for $550. At number 20, we got Spawn number 297. This is the Diamond Retailers variant. Most of these were signed by Todd McFarlane. It had a print run of 500. A 9.8 sold for $1,200. At number 19, we got Spawn number 237. This is the Tradesmart variant. It had a limited print run of 500. A 9.8 sold for $1,825. At number 18, we got Spawn number 219. This is the Phoenix Convention exclusive. This had a limited run of 500. A 9.8 sold for $464. With only 11,714, Spawn issue 243 is actually the lowest printed Spawn comic in the entire run. At number 17, we got Spawn number 185. This is the Headless McFarlane variant. It has less than 500 that exist, and a CGC 9.8 sold for $3,708. At number 16, we got Spawn number 283. This is the Image Expo variant. It had a limited run of 400, and a 9.8 sold for $3,495. At number 15, we got Spawn number 232. This is the Eastern Washington University variant. This was limited to 400. A 9.8 recently sold for $2,350. Todd McFarlane went to Eastern Washington University. He actually played baseball, and he did a keynote speak in the year 2013. And for the graduating class, he basically gave them this comic book. At number 14, we got Spawn number 222. This is the Kodransky variant. This is limited to 400, a 9.8 sold for $2,551. At number 13, we got Spawn number 220. This is the 1 in 75 sketch variant. This has an estimated print run of 300 to 400 copies, a 9.8 sold for $809. The main cover had a total print run of 30,136 copies. At number 12, we got Malibu Sun number 13. This is the Green Air variant. It has an estimated print run of less than 300 that exist. A CGC 9.6 sold for $4,000. Now, Malibu Sun was a preview of comics coming out, and it featured Spawn number 1 on the cover. These had a pretty good sized print run, but some of them slipped through the cracks where they had an error and didn't print all the colors correctly, and that's how you get the Green Air variant. At number 11, we got Spawn number 303. This is the Singapore convention variant. This is limited to 250 copies, a 9.8 sold for $2,500. At number 10, we got Spawn number 283. This is the Kodransky sketch variant. This was limited to only 200 copies, a CGC 9.8 sold for $450. At number 9, we got Spawn 10. This is the remastered variant. This has a print run of either 100 to 650 copies, depending on which variant you get. A 9.8 can sell anywhere from $150 to $1,000. This was a Kickstarter campaign by Dave Sims for Spawn 10, showing off different variants he had, because he originally did the Spawn 10 comic book from in the 90s. Originally, the longest running independent sole creator owned comic series was Dave Sims' Cerebus, but now that has been beat by Spawn. There's actually 32 covers to this, so I'm not going to put them all on here, but the rarest one being the distressed one, which is roughly around 100 copies, and then they go all the way up to 650 copies. At number 8, we got Spawn number 189. This is the sketch variant. It was limited to 100 copies. A CGC 9.8 sold for $4,413. At number 7, we got Spawn Kills number 1. This is the sketch variant. There's less than 100 copies to ever be made. A CGC 9.8 sold for $730. Fun fact, Michael J. White played Spawn in the 1997 Spawn movie, but did you know that they considered Snoop Dogg, yes, Snoop Dogg the rapper, to play Spawn? At number 6, we got Spawn number 185. This is the Will sketch variant. There's less than 75 copies known to exist. A CGC 9.4 sold for $5,741. At number 5, we got Spawn number 270 all the way up to 316. These are employee-only blank covers. Each of these issues have less than 50 copies made. They never get sold. So one of the ways that Todd McFarlane likes to give back to his employees is he'll take a Spawn comic and put on a blank cover. He'll have the issue number and the title and all that stuff on the blank, and then he gives it to the employee. Sometimes he'll draw on them, sometimes he'll assign them, whatever it is. It's a way to give back to the employee to say thank you, because the employee can then turn around and sell it and make a little extra money. And these are extremely, extremely rare because they're only given out to the employee. At number 4, we got Spawn Kills Everyone number 1, the employee variant. This has less than 50 copies ever made. Each one is signed by Todd McFarlane and has the employee's name handwritten on the cover. A 9.8 recently sold for $1,999. At number 3, we got Spawn number 306. This is the Mortal Kombat DLC variant. There's less than 50 copies known to exist. A CGC 9.2 sold for $2,900. So this is an extremely rare Spawn comic. So originally they made a couple hundred of these, and it was for a Mortal Kombat video game tournament that featured Spawn as a playable character. And they're gonna give these out to like the fans and people spectating and things like that, but the show got canceled, so then they just decided to trash all the copies they made. They kept less than 50 and handed them out to the players because the players still played, but there's no more spectators. So a lot of these players probably threw them away, trashed them, didn't keep them in great shape. If you do find some, they'll probably be pretty damaged from people just throwing it somewhere. And the picture that you see in here is actually my personal copy because I could not really find a picture of this anywhere. At number 2, we got Spawn 10, the Remastered Proof. Now these had 2 different proofs. One had 20 print run and one had 25 print run. There has been none that have been graded by CGC, and one sold raw for $1,000. These are extremely rare and hard to come by, only given out to like the top people in the Kickstarter campaign. So we're about to hit our number 1 rarest Spawn comic ever made, and as you can see, There's so many on this list that beat King Spawn's #1 retailer incentive. There's limited ones, and there's also retailer incentives that beat the King Spawn #1 by a lot. So on to the Rarest Spawn comic. We got Spawn #1, the Air variant. This has an estimated print run of roughly around 10 to 50 copies that ever exist. A CGC 9.8 sold for $8,400. And what makes this an Air variant is there is no black ink printed. So there's no price, there's no #1, nothing. All the colors look kind of faded. Now they estimate between 10 and 50 exist, but there's probably only less than 20 that actually do exist, that are out there and available if they didn't get thrown away or trashed. So I hope you like this list of the top 50 Rarest Spawn comics. If you do, please like and subscribe down below. Have a great day.